Sure. Hello, everyone. Good evening from Ghana. Welcome to this CPD webinar from the Institute of Financial Accountants, Ghana. I'm happy to have all of you here. We are hoping for a very insightful session today. All the previous sessions we have had have been very interesting. And today's topic is mind-blowing because it delves deep into our minds itself. And we are hoping that we will go home with a new mindset and an interesting orientation after today's session. My name is Christian Nyano Hine. I'm the Regional Director for the Institute of Financial Accountants, UK in Ghana. And I welcome all members and non-members and all members of the IFA community joining us for the first time from wherever you are. We want to inform you that this session is being recorded, and the recordings will be made available on the IFA YouTube page, which you can have access to anytime after this session. Okay, I'm happy today to be joined by Mrs. Florence Enimuada. Mrs. Florence is a mental health professional and currently the Deputy Director of Operations for the Nurses and Midwifery Council, Ghana. I wish I could say so much about Mrs. Florence, but in the interest of time, I would be happy if Mrs. Florence would take it up by herself. This is not normally done, but today we are doing it for the first time because Mrs. Florence is somebody who I would say was very happy from the onset to come and speak to us, especially when I presented the topic of discussion to her. And she was happy to receive, and she was also happy to accept to join us. And since this is a virtual session, the best way of interacting with us could be a personal introduction. And I think that one will also come clear and straight from her herself. Today, we will be looking at the mental well-being of accountants. Mental health issues has been one of the silent issues in Ghana and the whole world. Different groups of people, especially men, suffer different types of mental health issues. And mostly, it's either we are forbidden from talking about it, or we don't even know we are suffering from that kind of condition. And each and every one of us, as part of our work as accountants, experiences different people that sometimes you wonder, who are these? What's actually going on with these people? and as a matter of interest to the profession and a matter of interest to all of us, we have decided to bring a professional who understands what mental health issues really are and how we as accountants can be reminded of how to manage our mental health issues for our personal interest and the people around us, which extends even to our families. So I'm happy today and would once again welcome Mrs. Florence to talk to us this evening. And let me remind all of us that the Q&A section is opened. Whilst the session is going on, attendees are allowed to type in their questions, and after the session, I would read those questions out and our facilitator will answer them. Thank you very much, members. Stay tuned whilst we receive Mrs. Florence Enimo-Adako. Mrs. Florence.
Hello, Ohine.
Yes, thank you very much for joining us today. On behalf of the Institute of Financial Accountants UK and all our members in Ghana, we are happy to receive you this evening. Please, the floor is yours. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. And good evening, good afternoon, wherever we find ourselves listening at the sound of my voice. So as Mr. Ohine said, I am a nurse with a specialty in mental health nursing. I have practiced clinically, taught in the school, I've taught diploma, degree, and even second degree students of nursing and midwifery all over, across Ghana, and even beyond. I am a fellow of the West African Postgraduate College of Nurses and Midwives. I'm also a fellow of the Ghana College of Nurses and Midwives. I am also an honorary member of the Sigma Theta Tau International. That's an honorary fellowship of nurses and midwives. It's a global community. I have done publications and I have featured on television programs, talks, social, marital, and all that. I am a member of the Counseling Association of Ghana, almost completing my fellowship with the Ghana Psychological Society. And I have been nursing through and through. My name is Florence, and a Nightingale can be added. As a mental health nurse person, people who do not understand mental illness will only look at the dirty man on the street and think that that person is the one who has a problem. But living with people, working with people, family, friends, close relatives, and distant ones, at times, if you are also somebody who loves to observe social issues and events, and even how people communicate, you realize that many are having a level or a degree of mental illness. It's a matter of time and progression. If care is not taken, they will find themselves at a facility they never dreamt of. So the presentation today is for you special people, accountants. Honestly, I was discussing with one of you and I said, I have never thought of the issue of mental health issues associating with accountants, because most often we will associate mental illness with people with economic, who are economically deprived, the poor, the destitute, the needy. And so when we see people dealing with the zeros and counting the papers and the coin, we think that they have no issues. But when this presentation was accepted to be done, and I started going through the data, I realized that it is not that good. And so tonight or this evening, it's my prayer that we will leave this virtual class with fortification of our own mental health. All right, so today we are discussing mental well-being of the accountants. And I think that this is going to be the thumbnail of my presentation. We'll look at health, mental wellness, mental illness. How do we identify someone has good mental health? We'll look at the predisposing factors. We'll look at the signs that should alert you to know that somebody is suffering from mental illness. We'll try and see how we can prevent it. And then in preventing it, at what point will you yourself say that I need to seek help? So we'll look at when to seek help. And then we'll also look at where to find help, and we'll conclude. So that is for our discussion. Your field as accountants is a very stressful area. And because you need to work for long hours, you are supposed to meet deadlines. You have a lot, you go through a lot of stresses and pressure, and it doesn't put you in the best of positions on the issue of your mental health. In recent studies, it's been said that over 28% of people working in the accounting sector report that their work as accountant have negatively affected their mental health as a result of the long hours and all that. And the fear of making errors. Most people, especially those who find themselves in the banking sectors, they are always sitting on tenterhooks because they need to balance their sheets. The issue of refund, if monies are not found, puts a lot of stress on their mental health. And they are always anxious, apprehensive to ensure that they do things right. In a study by the Truman State University, it came out that over 50% male and 50% female showed over 54% of your students, accounting students, developing mental health issues whilst in school. And so coming out and working is also no different from educating yourself to become an accountant. The demand on you is so much. And so majority of your students, data says that they develop or are having pre-existing mental illnesses, but they are not comfortable talking about them to their lecturers because of the stigma that is attached to them. So even if they cannot do, some of us, we stress our wards, our children. We want them to also be like we are, and we are stressing them. Something that I want to be an accountant and I'll be counting all the monies. Maybe you need to change your name. The name accountant, counting, money. That is what people associate with you with. And they come after you, needing you to support them financially. if you find yourself anywhere, people are after you. In another search, it was said that over 53% of the participants who were accountants were also having disorder in at least one area of public health issues. And when we talk about the public health issues, we are looking at it's a holistic approach to that. When we talk about the public, what are some of the issues that come with it? It is just like our social issues. So you realize that when you go further into the work that was done by Asadi, they said that most people suffer disorders like depression. They identify a lot of accountants reporting and showing signs of depression. And according to the Institute of Chartered Accountants in England and Wales, they said nearly 1/3 of accountants suffer mental issues. They have mental health issues, and that most of them, over half of them, are admitted to mental health facilities. And it also mentioned about depression. And so you realize, because of the competition around your job, especially those who find themselves in the banking sectors, they need to overtake your other banks, the competitors that you have in the system. It is not helping at all. And anything that makes you apprehensive, that makes you anxious to achieve, doesn't relax you. And so it doesn't support the World Health Organization's definition for health, which states that it's a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being, and not merely the absence of disease or infirmity. So most of us find ourselves in our tie and our suits, in our beautiful cars, and inside us, we are not healthy. So the WHO is saying that if you are physically healthy and you are not mentally healthy, you don't have health. But health is a human right. Everybody needs health. In fact, if you are a pauper and you don't have the president is responsible for your health. And so when you go to the hospitals, that is why we have the social welfare unit or department to ensure that even the poor amongst the poor can access health. Let's now veer into why we are here today: mental health. Mental health is a state of mental well-being. And so if you are going through, you are not able to cope with the stresses of life, and if you are not able to realize your abilities, everything is interfering with the work that you do. You are unable to contribute to the community in which you live. We are not seeing your importance. I mean, everything, you are grown, but everything has to be done for you. You don't feel like working. You are not able to maintain relationship. You are not able to even establish. Some of us, we can't even tell a woman that I want to marry you, or whichever way you see it. And so some of the things, we see it and we know that no, something is not right. Some of us, even the way we combine though you need to groom yourselves, but there are times when you see people with their combination of colors, flamboyantly, and how they go about it, you can easily see that no, this one, something is not right upstairs. And so we are saying that it is the APA, which is the American Society The first one has to do with WHO, who defined mental health. And the APA also said that mental health is a state of mind characterized by emotional well-being, good behavioral adjustment, relative freedom from anxiety and disabling symptoms, and a capacity to establish constructive relationships and to cope with the ordinary demands and stresses of life. When you look at what the APA said, you could see that it has actually captured every aspect of our lives, that you are not able to adjust and adapt to situations. You are always anxious and anxiety in your work. And that is what the data find, all the research that is done. It said that you are always anxious. And so this is where the issue is. So the mental illness can be described as disturbances in your thoughts, feelings, and perceptions. When we say in your thoughts, you'll be sitting down and things are running through your mind. You are not able to concentrate. You think that you are looking on your computer, you are doing your calculation, but your mind just moves you to either your home or something, and you are not able to maintain or stabilize your thoughts. And there are times the feelings that you have, it's as if you are not happy. It's as if somebody is offending you, and the perceptions. Somebody is talking about me. Why are they staring at me? Why is everybody laughing and I'm not laughing? You are always thinking negatively. And so if these things affect and interfere with your everyday functioning, let me reiterate that anything that is done that will interfere with your everyday functioning, and I will want to stress on this one. For instance, by 5 or 6 a.m., you are out of bed, you bath, you do everything, and then by 8, you should be in the office. A time comes that you don't feel like even getting out of bed. Then you start going to work late. You don't feel like bathing. And there are times you don't even feel like brushing your teeth. Your teeth is becoming like 2 inches color TV. Your hair is becoming so bushy, we don't know whether you want to lock it or what. And so when all these things come about, you are not able to communicate anything to your bosses or even also disseminate information to your subordinates. When some of these things are happening, we can identify that all is not well. There are times that you, the individual, you feel something is not right, but you don't have control over it. That is about mental issues. And so when we are talking about that, this is what we say. You don't have a sense, you are supposed to, as an individual, to have a good mental health might look different from the other. So mine will be different from Mr. Ohene. But then there's a general one that we use to measure when assessing people for mental health issues. You should have a sense of purpose. Why am I here? You are a staff. What are your duties? You should be able to know what you are supposed to do. You are supposed to establish and maintain healthy relationships. If you are there and you don't have a friend, you make friends today, tomorrow there is a fight. And those of you from Ghana, and then if you are not careful, people start calling their deities and their gods, and Antoinyamas and all the rest, swelling the deities of their hometowns. And then you say, what is this one? You are not connected to others. You don't have friends. No, you don't. You are not supposed to live as an island. You are supposed to also be able to cope with stress. You are supposed to feel good about yourself and others. You're supposed to be comfortable in the presence of others. You see, especially if you are working in an institution, you are supposed to work with others. You can't work with your family members. So if you are not able to work with people, then you have a problem. Because if you are mentally healthy, you are able to work with people. Even when they get angry, you are supposed to cope and also let things go after some time. You should be able to also meet the demands of what is expected of you. Some people, they just pile up their desk, they will not work. When you call, anytime you invite them, there is an excuse. Every day you are giving excuses. So you ask yourself, why is it that others are able to complete, I'm not able to do it? It means that something is not well. You are supposed to also express your emotions in a healthy way. Some people, when they get emotional, they start throwing tantrums. They don't even care where they stand and who is present. They just do anything. They tell you that, for me, that is how I am. No. We don't say that is how I am. How I am is not a healthy way of living in a society. We should also understand that others, where your right ends is where somebody ends at somebody's throat. You are supposed to accept the views of others. Some people, even at meetings, they don't want others to talk. It's as if they have everything. They know everything. And when others speak their minds, they attack. You are supposed to make decisions at a certain age and a certain level of your work. You are supposed to make good decisions. You are supposed to resolve conflict. To be mentally healthy, you are able to resolve conflict. When conflicts come and you are running away from them, then you are not stable. You should be able to resolve issue because it's a human institution and anything can happen. So when they happen, we should be able to resolve them. And as I said, you adapt and also cope with changes. Some when you ask them that you are on this table, next week you are moving to this department. No, you don't like me, you hate me. Why? You are supposed to work. So wherever you are put, if they say that your services are needed at the security point, go and do it to the admiration of all. That even when Chief was placed here, he was able to do this. Some of you are so static. We want to be at one place. Maybe you think that where you were, there are some benefits, so you don't want to move at all. No, you should be able to adapt and cope with changes, especially when transfers and when change of offices come. We should be able to do that. We are supposed to be assertive but not aggressive. Some of us, we speak our mind, but in speaking our mind, we overstep our boundaries and even toes. Some don't even care that we have leaders, we have officers, we have seniors amongst us. They just speak, somebody will say, anyhowly. How could you? So you are not supposed to be aggressive. Aggression is a mental issue because people do it to have social dominance. They become aggressive and they put the fear in people. And so people are afraid to even speak about their issues, even when they go wrong. And these are signs of mental issues. If you are that aggressive, we don't do that. Good communication skill is good for our work. You work peacefully in a team. When you are in a team, accept others' views. When you are in a team, you don't dominate and everybody leaves you to do your work. And you think that, oh, they didn't do it. They don't just like to work with you. So please know how to work in a team. And you are supposed to maintain some hygiene needs. You are supposed to groom yourself. Please. And you leave your hair overgrown, armpit, you are smelling and all that. And you think that, oh, that is you. No. If you want to work with people, you must be seen and you should be pleasant in your smell. You should smell pleasantly so people can be with you. You don't go and sit in the midst of people and say. People are not comfortable. You should understand that grooming is, and in fact, is the number one thing that is assessed when you want to know people's mental health status. You are supposed to obey rules and standards. Some people, they just don't obey rules. And then you are supposed to practice self-care. Some people, they work and they are not able to, they work and they don't care about their own health. You must pull the brakes and know when it is time for you to also assess health. You should be able to identify enjoyable hobbies and go with it. You deal with painful feelings. We are humans. And so as humans, sorry. Good. So as humans, a time will come that there can be losses, death can approach, and after a month, especially after burial and after resolution, you are supposed to overcome it. So you don't mourn after burial and everything. 3 months, you still have this crying spells. You don't want to see, you don't want to do anything. It's affecting your functioning. Then it means that you need to seek help. You should find humor in life. It's not every day that everything stresses you. Look at how the economy is going, prices of goods and services, but you should be able to find some humor somewhere and laugh. Yesterday, I saw some video of how our president was talking about the weight of the CD, and he said the CD is hata. So I was just laughing and laughing, and this is 2016. So I said, oh, look at this one. So you find humor and we laugh over things. Otherwise, things will stress you and weigh you down. Seek help when needed. Okay. To be mentally, mental. So we are looking at the characteristics. Okay. Most people with mental health issues, they do not share their feelings. They cannot control their behaviors. They are so negative about everything. Everything, they read negative meanings into them. They normally ignore or they deny that there are problems or challenges. They don't want to accept that there are challenges. They don't want to accept change at all. They want, so if this is where they are, they want to be there to perpetuity. And so when you are not able to accept change, then that is they allow the stresses of life to overtake them. And they are always blaming and others for their challenges they go through. Every day, there is somebody either in the office or at home or a friend who is doing him or her in. So they are always blaming others. And as I said, they are always aggressive. They are aggressive for social dominance. There are some who are depressed, but those who are aggressive is not a comfortable thing working with them at all. People who are aggressive, they can lie. They are liars. They didn't see, they said they were there when it happened. They were never there, and they can lie about you if they want to disgrace you. They don't know shame. Aggressive people, they don't know shame. They can insult you and tell you things that you cannot even forget. They disgrace you, your integrity and everything. They touch on the very thing that makes you feel good. They touch on it and destroy it just with their words. And as I said, they run from conflict. They close their mind on it. They need to, they are normally people who do not want to be in a group. For instance, you want to set up something in the office or in the organization. We have all agreed that want to do this. And you see that they will stand there somewhere. They don't want to be part. And when you also do it, they will talk and talk and talk, and they find fault of every decision that is made by the organization, by leadership or by management. And they are always gathering people to fight. They normally want to be the union leaders. Please forgive, I'm a union leader, but I don't do such thing. But normally they want leadership roles to fight management, the organization. They want to fight them. They always want the best for themselves and not for others. So that is this. There are factors that predisposes an individual to mental illness. And when we talk about the biological factors, we are looking at what you have inherited from your family, your generations. There are some families or generations, they have mental illness. And so that is it. So if you are born into a family like that, you are predisposed into having a mental illness. It doesn't mean that you will have a mental illness because you are biologically exposed, but there will be the triggering factors that can trigger the onset of the mental illness. For instance, you are predisposed to mental illness. So normally we will hear things like, oh, they are all smoking now. Wait there. The moment he touched he smoked weed, that day he got mad. So this is where the issue is. Maybe you are biologically exposed. You had a family line with mental illness. So for you, you need something to trigger it. There are some people who are also not predisposed biologically. So they will be smoking, they are smoking, they are sniffing, their heroines, their barbiturates, their marijuanas, and all that. And then nothing is happening to them. They will be moving about doing their things. But you one day, and then they will be pushing it on some old people in the house. No, you are predisposed to it. And the biological factors are those that are displayed, the birth defects, the brain defects, and then those chemical imbalances, infections, and toxins. When your wife is pregnant, or when you are pregnant, the baby in utero, if you are not careful, and some of the lifestyles like excessive drinking of alcohol, the use of hard drugs and all that, it can affect the baby, the brain of the baby. And when they come out, they can be predisposed to mental illness easily. And then the birth defect, at times when you are being delivered and it's not handled well, it can also result in that. And then the psychological factors. And so there are some people, as I said, they have external factors impact negatively on them. They are not able to handle emotions. So the moment something happened and it's so emotional, they are not able to come out of it. It can linger on, and before you are aware, they are so down, they cannot do anything for themselves. When people are abused sexually and physically, for instance, you were once a maid servant, you stayed with people, how you were molested, how you were beaten, even the insults, they insult you and insult your penny, and they will make you see that poverty is actually a disease on you. Some are sexually abused. Some parents are even abusing their own children. And so if that is it, when you have unstable political environment, when you ask those who, like the Liberians, those countries who were faced with war and all that, when you ask them and how they came out, when the environment is not stable, with all your mental, and it will shock you. If war breaks in a country, some people can just pick machete and start killing their own siblings because there is breakdown of law and order, and it affects us. And some of the social and cultural expectations of our family, war, family separation, bereavement. This is where I will plead, especially those of us with children. It doesn't matter how difficult things are, for the sake of our children and their mental health, though we will also look at our mental health, but because we are old, we can seek help. But for the children, when there is separation, they suffer too much. And when you listen to stories of people from homes or separated homes, what they went through in the hands of people, you wouldn't want to go that tangent. So that is the bereavement and losses. When you miss something, please know that it is life, it can come back, but some they are not able to handle that. Then behavioral factors. As for this one, you buy it for yourself. When we say behavioral, those activities that you yourself pick your money to go and purchase so you pick your money to go and purchase mental illness. And these are the behavioral ones. So substance abuse, you can say that I don't want to abuse, and you won't take it. And then your sleep habits. Some of us, today is Friday. If you are there, dance if you are a dance 3 days, Some they can't even sleep. When you listen to some of the videos, the Christmas, the people who came to, they said from this house today, what are you using your money to buy? Sleeplessness, and it can affect your brain cells. Unhealthy lifestyles. Some of us chase women. Some of us chop everything. Why? Money is not given for you to be taking panties from other people. Please, we need to, some of the lifestyles, they are not healthy. And then why it is not healthy is because, one, it takes a lot of energy from you. You yourself, you are tired. Don't tell me that going out of the house is a relaxing atmosphere. I tell you that that person, when you marry them, they are worse off than your spouses. So please keep to one and have some rest for yourself and for your soul. A healthy mind resides in a healthy body. So you have to, don't use money to go and buy mental problems. And that is the behavioral factors that I am talking about. And then the predisposing economic and social factors, they are the problem in Africa. And that is why we have unstable challenges. The poverty level, in fact, there are times you visit, even in Accra here, you meet some people with poverty design faces, and you know that all is not well. Hey, what is this one now? You see their zygomatic bones, you see some of the things around them. Oh, goodness. And so this is the economic factors we are talking. When people are poor and they have unstable relationship, the streams of poverty, they are facing rejection, stigma, unemployment, and then people who retire empty net syndrome. All the children are gone. Some retire in despair. I like referring people to Erik Erikson. He's a theorist. And when you are a student of psychology, you would have heard about him. His last stage is about integrity and despair. And that last stage, when you retire in despair, you are likely to have a mental breakdown. Because at the end of the day, you won't grow any younger. Some of us, when you look at how we are behaving ourselves in this time, that we are young, that we are getting some coins that we can keep, that we are not keeping. We are investing, some of us, our investment is in people's booms and
Hello, Auntie Florence, Madam Florence. Hello, Madam Florence. Are you with us? You are muted.
Hello, Ahine.
Yes, you were muted. Please continue.
Oh, okay. Sorry about that. Okay.
Yes.
So I was just saying that for the economic factors.
And your presentation is
at what point did I at the retirement?
Yes.
Yes.
Can you
and I was,
share your screen again, please?
oh, the screen is off. Oh no. Sorry. Please, can you see? Oh yeah, please, are you able to see?
Yes, it's okay. Can you put
Okay.
it on slideshow so that
Yes.
we can continue from where we stopped?
Okay. I think we're here. No, let's go. Let's go. Economic, we're at economic. Yeah. I am almost done with economic. Please, is the screen shared? Hello.
Yes, please continue.
Thank you. So I was also talking about retirement and empty net, and was talking about how we should prepare for our retirement. Otherwise, we'll be moving to the controller to change our age, but it won't help. And then issues of racial, gender, or disability and discrimination. These are all the things that also economically and socially, it sends people into a mental condition or the other. And then the environmental. There are times that issues of unemployment, issues of instability, and then racism, those who are out there. And it's not just racism. Some of us, even here in Ghana, we also do same. We say the white people do. We do worse. We talk tribal, we talk religious. Some people, they think that their tribe is superior to the others. Some people think that there are some people, employees, you are with them, and you are even afraid to speak your native language because they don't understand. They think that you shouldn't talk about it. Hey, what kind of language? And hey, you know, and all that. There are times that we make such statements, and people are not happy, but they are afraid because of how aggressive you are. So please, we should be able to avoid all those things. And we shouldn't be looking at people. There are times that preferential treatment is given to others. Please, as managers and as management and all the decision makers, we should avoid discriminating amongst our staff. And because all those things put people, when they are not happy in the office, it will affect their mental health issues. So we have talked about the signs and symptoms, and I think that these are some of the things that you see. People are always worried. When you identify somebody, is always worried, and then the person is not happy, and then a little thing you do, they become so emotional. You have to go and plead with them, and they will be crying. You don't even know. Emotional instability. They have disturbed sleep. If you cannot sleep, sleep is the best medicine you can have. You should be able to sleep. Some people, they go to bed, they cannot sleep. They close their eyes, and it's like they never get into any deep sleep till the next morning. What are you thinking about? What are you thinking about? If you are not able to sleep, it will affect your health. And at the long term, it will affect your mental health. Most people, when mental illness is approaching, there is a change in the appetite. Some don't eat at all. Others overeat. They will eat and eat and eat and eat and eat. And so it is also a sign that all is not well upstairs. Some also abuse drugs, hard drugs, or alcohol. Some take excessive alcohol. Some will also smoke their head off. Some people are going through relationship challenges. They discuss with people and they say, oh, forget them. Let's take some of these things. Some are also having physical conditions. For instance, they pain their gut. Even some people have nursed a sickle cell person, and the person was using pethidine. Some are abusing pethidine. Just recently, I learned that that girl died because the abuse was so much. I've nursed a patient who was abusing pethidine, and you know where he was injecting the pethidine? In her clitoris. And she said that is the best feeling ever that any human being can experience. She has abused pethidine, and when she was admitted and was withdrawn from the drug, she just took blade and cut off her clit because she said that the feeling, she's what she wants to do, she's not able to, and she was bleeding like nobody's business. When you abuse some of these things from the onset, you think it's going to help you. But at the end of the day, It destroys families. All your bank account will go empty. People with mental illness, they have guilt feeling. They are always thinking that they have done something sinful. They are going through this pain because something they have offended, especially God. And so normally they will be running to their prophet. So who is the next prophet to tell me that God has forgiven me? And let me just chip this in. Statistics, research shows that the Catholic Church, Catholics are best positioned when it comes to mental health because of the confession that they do to their fathers. And the fathers tell them that, go, your sins are forgiven and all that. They don't harbor some of these things. Unlike those of us who finds ourselves in this charisma, Pentecostal, and some even Orthodox churches, where when you offend or when you sin, you think that God has not forgiven you. But every day they are hammering that place. They are hammering, especially a Jamaican and all that. And so every day you feel guilty. It's as if God is not with you. So the moment any calamity befalls you, you say, this sin that I committed, that is what is causing. Please, nothing is causing anything. Just stop what you started and you are good to go. And then we are also saying that at times you also feel disconnected. You don't feel that you should get closer to people. You'll become apathetic. You withdraw from friends and family. You don't want to be part of any social activity. And then lack of sexual drive, especially the married people. There are times that your spouse is not having sex with you. You don't understand. It's not always the case that they are chasing you. There are times that they are going through mental illness, especially the men. So the men on this platform, you realize that your penis doesn't have any bone inside. There is no bone in your penis. So what is there is that there are blood vessels. So when your mind is so relaxed and you are happy about something you have seen, especially about your wife, I don't want to go anything beyond there. See that one, let that one be beautiful. Then there's perfusion. Blood flows straight into the penis. Then it becomes elongated and strengthened, and you want to have sex. But that drive, if you have a mental illness or you are getting into that drive is not there. And that person can stay for years. They don't want to have sex. And there are some people like that. They are not doing anything silly. They just don't have any drive for sex. And so if your mental health, your mental status is not the best, that is what happens. And so how do we prevent it? As I said, the biological factors, genetic counseling. Before you go into any relationship, don't start the relationship before you go for any counseling to know that your family has mental illness, my family has mental illness. We are likely to produce mental patients. So no, genetic counseling, let's stay clear. It's just like sickle cell anemia. You stay clear of it if you know that your potential children will be sickle cell persons. And so that is that. Then modification of lifestyle. We talk about drug use in the psychological and then the behavioral. So if you are even predisposed, stay clear. If you are not predisposed, stay abusing some of these things. If it is alcohol, once a while you take something, socialization. But if it becomes your lifestyle, every evening you close, you have to go and sit somewhere, drink your head off before you go. What is that one too? And then also you must be with people with positive mindset. There are some people, they are always planning evil. Avoid them. And then you should manage conflicts well, be it in your relationship, in the offices. You spend a lot of time in your workplace. So when there are people that you are having issues with, please find a way of resolving so that you are at peace. Otherwise, anytime you see them, you have a problem. If you don't have work to do, you must get employed. And if you are employed, please work so that you are not made unemployed because of your lazy attitude. You should be able to meet deadline. Learn how to manage stress, and then also have the support of family and friends. It's not always you alone who will chop your money. Allow others to chop it too, please. Then the prevention, we look at if you have it is called secondary prevention. If you were not able to prevent it at the primary level, when it gets to secondary, it means that seek help. You must visit a facility. You must identify a professional to handle the situation for you. There are times that you just need a counselor to take you through it, and that should be it. There are times that you need to pray yourself. because of how we believe in things, Muslims, Christians, we all believe supreme being who hears us when we have challenges. So you can speak to that person too, and that is God. And otherwise, you also need to go to somebody with a know-how to handle the situation. When it gets to the tertiary prevention of mental illness, that is where the rehabilitation, society reintegration, and all those things come in. Some people are locked up in rehabilitation homes. So now they cannot control it. They need to, and I tell you how much people pay to access rehabilitation centers. You have no idea. Please don't try it. And if your children have started using drugs, you should know that if you're not careful, even your house, you will sell it. It cannot solve the problem. It's very, very expensive. And so don't try it. So that is about the tertiary prevention. When do you seek help? We are there. So as we are there, the Bible says, know that you may know yourself. You have all this while you have been there. Then you realize that you are having difficulty sleeping. It's not just one. It's not just one. If you have about 3 of these things, then you should be able to seek help. You have changes in appetite, and I spoke to you about that. You are gaining weight or you are losing weight. You are just losing weight, and everybody sees you. You are not doing anything, but except that you are not able to eat, you are losing weight. You are thinking excessively. You have difficulty concentrating. And then you have lost interest in all activities that you had previously enjoyed. You are not able to complete your usual tasks or activities. You feel irritable. The little thing people do, you want to fight. You are easily getting angry over things. You get frustrated over little things. You brought the fire. They say, oh, this one, can you wait? Then you get frustrated. You become restless. You sit here, you get up, you sit here. You are easily provoked, and you also provoke others. When it happens like that, then it means that you need to seek help. And then where can we find help? We are saying that go and seek help. Where do we find help? It is saying that a primary healthcare provider, if you experience any of the signs that have been mentioned, you need to seek help from them. You can go to any facility, even the clinic beside you, the nearest facility. You don't need to move to Accra Mental. You don't need to move to Ankaf. You don't need to move to Pantine. You don't need to go to any of the hospitals for mental at the mental unit. You first move to any of the consulting rooms in the facility nearest to you. When you go, just tell the in the consulting, the doctor there, that, doc, this is what I'm going through. And so I want to know what I'm supposed to do. They all know mental health. They all have mental health background. I mean, they have knowledge in mental health. So the moment you speak to them, they can tell you that, okay, this one, I can refer you to a counselor. I want you to see the psychologist. From the way things are going, especially when normally you walk to them like that, yours is not serious. But when you are dragged, because you don't want to go, and the family and the environment knows that, there are times even the police has to come in to handcuff you and bundle you into a car and bring you that one straight to Pantawa. So please, when you have these issues, you should be able to move to the nearest and start treatment now. It is best to start it than to stay to be seeing the psychiatrist. It's best to see the counselor or the psychologist than to be moving to the psychiatric hospital. But then, no matter what, there are times to, if you are nearest, for instance, Pantine like this, it's become like a general hospital. You go to Pantine, people are going to deliver there. People are having surgeries there. It's a whole hospital. And so they have their mental places. So when you go to the OPD, nobody knows where you are going to, because others are going there for surgical interventions, and others are going there also for mental intervention. But when you go, they will attend to you and they will direct you where to go. There are psychologists there, in somebody will say in abundance, so you can get them and you will stay clean even with the mental illness, you can manage yourself through your working life and it will never affect you. I pray that we all do this to help ourselves and our families. On this note, I want to say that mental health is total health. So seek help and you will be good to go. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you, Madam Florence. It has been a very, very, very sensational update on our mental health. There are just a few, one or two questions. Someone is asking if there is a particular professional mental health status for an accountant, or there is a particular professional mental health status for the accountant. Do we have peculiar mental health status or mental health issues
assessment
to accountancy?
Okay. Okay. No, you see, generally we have a general assessment to ensure that somebody is mentally healthy. For instance, if somebody commits a crime and the person is referred from the court to see the psychiatrist, the psychiatrist is going to use all these things that I said with some question and how you give your answers and all that, to know that, to report back to the court that this person can stand trial or this person cannot stand trial, so needs treatment before can stand trial. So there is nothing special, but then because of how your work is, and to avoid anything, in fact, your work is such that you are supposed to avoid any errors, because errors can cause the organization. So because of that, you must be mentally strong. You must be mentally strong. And when you feel, what I would tell the accountant is that the moment you realize that something is weighing you down, you must seek help so that you don't break down completely. I don't know if I've answered the question, but I want to also chip in about the women, the accountants who are women. They are mostly, some of the data that I had said that especially those in the banks, they may get married, but because they are not able to, the time from morning till night, and so the stress that they go through is so much such that it affects their relationship. Most often, their husbands are either chasing or they themselves is affecting them. I mean, even initiating pregnancy and all that delays in a lot of things that they do. So at the end of the day, when they realize that they are growing and that's what that life should give them, especially biologically, they are not getting, then they get depressed. They sink deep into depression, especially in the issue of childbearing. And so some of these things and time that they don't have for their husbands and their spouses, it's affecting them. As for the men, they will go and they will do other things. But the women, the accountants, it weighs them so much. So that is that. We all need the mental health for everything. Our work like this is very stressful. And so my colleague accountant in this office, too much. And so we are all under so much stress, but we should be able to manage it and should know when to pull the brakes and seek help. That is all I will say about that one.
Okay, thank you. Last one, I think this is personally by myself. I want to know how accessible mental health, how accessible is it when we talk about mental health treatment and mental health management? How accessible is it and how expensive is it?
Okay. Mental health, when you break down, it's very expensive. But when you want to seek help, it's not expensive, because now it's being integrated in all the facilities in Ghana. So it's not just the 3 traditional mental hospitals. Every hospital that you go, 37, Kolebu, Konfanoche, Tamale Teaching Hospital, everywhere that you go, there is a unit. But first, you don't walk to the unit yourself. You go generally to the OPD. It is when you enter the consulting room with the doctor and you speak what you have, then the person knows where to refer you to the unit. And then you move there. So mental health is accessible. It's been integrated into the general health. But people only know about the traditional hospitals, Ankafu, Panta, and Accra Mental. No, it's not like that. It's integrated everywhere you find yourself, from Tumu to Asankregwa to Asarin. So everywhere you find health facility, you find help.
Okay, thank you. There's one other question. It says that he wants to know whether obsessive compulsive disorder affects accountants because of the repetitive nature of our work. Yeah.
Exactly.
Does
Most of the data on it also talk about this compulsion and this but because people are able to cope with them. And one thing about obsessive compulsive disorder is that if the manager is benefiting from it, that person is seen as somebody who pays attention to details. And so normally people don't get that one. But then the moment you are not, it is not, you become the manager or the one in charge, that is where the disturbances start. Because whatever people do, you don't appreciate it. And you want to do it. And so because you don't appreciate them, you stress them. And people wouldn't know that this is obsession. They would think that as for you, this is the way you like your thing. But normally they stress others. They themselves, they are not stressed, but they will stress others with that attitude. And of course, you even mentioned it, that because of your nature of work, making sure that you pay attention to details. If you are not careful, it will trigger into obsessive and compulsive disorders. So you should be conscious of yourself.
Okay,
yes.
Thank you very
Then
much.
I will also just want to add that you need to accept that you need help. And that is where the solution starts. Some people, they think that they don't need help. And if you don't need help, we cannot impose help on you. But the unfortunate thing about mental illness is that when you don't want the treatment, you will be dragged for the treatment. When somebody has BP and is not taking medication, one day, no call. But if you are suffering mental illness and you don't want to accept, a time will come that people cannot tolerate it. Either you will start getting into the bin and thinking that it's a restaurant, or before you are aware, your pants are taking off and you are just walking on the street. So the moment you identify that something is not well with you, especially, it will start from the sleep. You are not able to sleep. You will be there throughout the night. No, I'm sorry now. No. Something is wrong with you. You must seek help so that you don't go the extreme. In fact, we are all not, in one way or the other, we all have a kind of mental instability depending on where we find ourselves. But then we are able to cope. The moment you are not able to cope, and as I said, it interferes with your functioning, your relationship, your work, your everything that you do, then it means that you must seek help. And then also we should be honest. When we observe, there are times that we ignore people's behavior at the workplace. If you observe and you realize that this is my staff, it doesn't look like all is well with the person, you have to invite that person and speak to the person that I have observed of late that you do this and that. That is not you. I think you need to seek help. And if they refuse, a time will come, you have to report it. And they can be taken, they can be given some leave to take care of themselves. And we don't stigmatize them when they go back they come back from their health seeking. That is it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Florence. I think we are almost closing the docket on this. The last one I wanted you to comment more was a question from Ebenezer. He's asking between low and high blood pressure. No, between low and high pressure. I don't know whether it's blood pressure or just between low and high pressure, which group is more prone to mental challenges? He wasn't specific whether it was blood pressure or not. So
no, I think that he was talking about aggression and depression.
okay.
That
Yes.
when somebody is that outspoken and all that, and somebody is withdrawn, because that is where the triggers come in. There are times that none is better. None is better, but patients who have gone through depression, no, there is a mental condition called bipolar. Bipolar, I hope that some of you have heard about that. Patients with bipolar, when they are stable, they say that the depression part is so painful. They don't like that part. They want the static phase, the one that they are so happy, they are partying, they are spending, they are on shopping spree and all that. Their ego is so satisfied. That is what they say. But when they get into the depression, it's so painful. You are sad. You cannot assign it to anything, but you feel deep sadness and they don't like it. So none is better, but then, so we are not choosing between two devils. So we should seek help. Each of them is not the best. And if it is about blood pressure, he's talking about blood pressure, though it's a lifestyle, depending on the work, you know, as an accountant, you sit for long hours. And so it's not just blood pressure, but all other coronary diseases, including lung and even the urine. Some of accountants, but when they feel they have to void, they have to urinate, they won't even go and urine. And it affects your kidneys. So everything that you do that is becoming too excessive, you must pull the brakes and take some break. And then also the issue of prostate and kidney and all that. After age 45, 50, we should be looking at that. Because any condition that you have will affect your mental health, even if you have malaria. And I will also always say that if two people having hypertension or diabetes, any of the general conditions, if one is mentally stable and strong, and the other person is not stable mentally, the one who has a strong mental health will recover better than the other person who has a weaker mental status. So mental health is total health.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. I think we have to take this again some other time. Thank you very much, Mrs. Florence, for accepting to be with us today.
Thank
a big
you.
Thank you to our members.
It's always a privilege to be with you.
And non-members for joining us for the first time. Thank you very much. I think we will share with you information on the next CPD webinar to be done. Thank you very much.
Yes, please. Thank
the
you.
first time and you want to know about the IFA, you can visit us on ifa.org.uk to find more information about us. Thank you very much and enjoy your evening. Bye.
Bye. Have a blessed weekend.